All right. Welcome, everybody, to another CNC Q A Podcast. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Let me bring the crew in. We've got Mr. Ryan Ballard,
Evening.
Paul Corliss.
Are we the usual suspects, are we?
Yes, you are. And we didn't scare Bob off, apparently, because he come back for some more. So welcome back, Bob. Glad to have you on the panel again. Got several little things I'm going to talk about tonight, and I'm going to try to. I got an email from somebody, and I'm going to try to see if we can figure out what his problem is. And I've got, a couple of Gerbil experts here with Ryan and Bob, so they can. They'll probably already know the answer to it, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But we do have, this is. Got Easter Sunday coming up, Good Friday coming up. So I thought I would show off a couple of things. And this is stuff I've shown before. I think I did these about 2 years ago. I made this, I don't know, probably during one of the lives.
Yeah.
Quite a while ago. I think probably about 2 years ago. Now this is some, let's see if I can get that one turned the right way. All of these that I got are from my friend Steve Good. I can't think of what his website's called, Blogspot or something. Anyway, if you just put
Scrollsaw Workshop at blogspot.com, I believe.
Okay, there you go. Paul knows it. But these are some pretty cool things. Now, of course, I didn't do all this fine stuff with a CNC router. This is all done with my own tech laser. So if you're wondering what kind of stuff you can make with an OMTech laser, you can do like I do and go get scroll saw patterns and make some beautiful stuff out of them. So those are just a few of the Easter projects I've done. So I've got the OMTech discount code right there above the comments. So if anybody's wanting to go check them out, I think there's probably a link down below in the description too. So y'all want to check them out and get yourself an OMTech laser, and you too can make cool stuff like I do. All right. I have been, I need to stay off of some of these places, but I have been kind of taking not a super deep dive, but I've just kind of been checking out the PWN, because they've got that new Dominator coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a closer look at that, and I'm going to share my screen, and we'll look at this together here. But they, let's see, let me just go ahead and do this like this. There we go. But I got to looking at the prices over here, and they're
salty.
I looked at them, I'm like, man, they're kind of starting to get into Avid range there,
So are they at 80/20 design as well?
Yeah, but something else is, I don't know, I guess I'm just funny this way, but whenever I look at a website like this, I want to see real pictures of the machines. I don't want to see software renderings.
Right.
And that's what, when you blow these up where you can see them better, that's what all these are.
Yeah.
This isn't pictures of a machine. This is just the software rendering. So I'm like, okay, well, they're to me, I think they're kind of getting ahead of themselves, or at least in my opinion, they are, because they're
Yeah.
putting all these up, and and they haven't even. I mean, maybe they built some prototypes and tested. I'm sure they have, but they're getting a whole bunch of stuff out here ready to sell, and I don't know if there's any of them out in the wild yet. So
I
that
wonder
just
what the difference between the bed rigidity upgrade and the bed structural upgrade.
yeah. See, that's another thing I was going to mention. I mean, the stuff is already pretty pricey as far as if we're talking hobbyist, which that's kind of what I always think about is the hobbyist or the light production people that maybe make stuff to sell on Etsy or craft fair or something like that. But so it's already a little pricey, and then they hit you with a bed rigidity upgrade and a bed structural upgrade, and I'm like, well, why isn't it that way to start with? you know,
Right.
I don't quite understand selling all these upgrades to fix things. Just make it where it's right to
Didn't the
start with.
Onefinity even have a stiffy kit or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yes. It
yeah.
added
That's an
a third rail.
extra bunch of money you got to pay. I don't know what that thing costs, but yeah, it just come on, people, just make the machines where they're right to start with, and quit nickel and diamond folks uh,
Right.
with all the. And I mean, look at this. It's $550, and what is it? 5 pieces of extrusion. That's what it looks like.
It's available in 2 colors.
Oh well, shoot, that makes it all worth it then. I didn't know you could get it in 2 colors. Yeah, clear anodized or black
Or
anodized
black.
looks like.
I think I'd want the black.
Now here's one thing though. I noticed. I thought they did
60%
it
of
the
it.
same as Onefinity, but you only have to pay 60% up front, and then they hit you for the rest with the when it
So you
ships.
have to pay the materials and the shipping cost and stuff, and then
Yeah,
so that way they're out that, I suppose.
yeah. So then the profit will come later when they ship it, I guess. But
I
Yeah.
like that.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just funny that way. I like holding on to my own money. And when I give my money to somebody, I expect them to hurry up and get me what I'm paying them for. So
We do
So
live in
those
an
are all,
Amazon world. It's not here yet. So yeah, for sure.
yeah, I just
so those
and
are all upgrades. So what's the base machine cost?
well, well, let's see. They've got this bundle. It's 11 grand just about.
Well,
But
that's
is that
with the ATC and everything. So
Yeah. Okay, now here's well, no, that's a bundle too.
that's just got the spindle.
Let's see if they've got 475 for the fourth axis. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It's I guess this bundle. I don't know what would be the basic machine. They've got all these
So
different.
I'm sorry.
But
Does it
see
say
this
what
one.
size the extrudents are and such? I mean, I don't.
So this one here. Look at this one. It's the ATC bundle, which automatic tool change is nice, but it's nearly 10 grand, or I guess it was 10 grand before they put it on sale. But it's not. It doesn't even have a table. It doesn't even have legs or anything with it. So I don't
Does it
know.
say? Does it say what size the stepper motors or the extrusion? I mean, where's all the details?
Well, I'm sure they're probably in here somewhere.
There, go to the description. There we go. What's included?
Wow, no,
Oh, you get a bonus.
on that one, they include the rigidity upgrade. That's nice.
You get bits from IDC and
Yeah, neither one of those would be my choice. Kharkov, Vectric, Vectric.
Well, that's all stuff you need on top of what you buy.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got you. I
I
wasn't
mean, you
thinking.
get a bonus. You get the probe and the tool setter and the the rigidity kit.
Okay, a probe's a $99 value. The XYZ probe. Okay, if you say so. I don't know. Like I said, it just
Yeah.
I don't know. I know this
So
company's been around, but they haven't been doing machines. They've
is
been
it ball
doing.
screw or?
I
I mean, that's
believe it's all. Again, you have to look closely at the software rendering here,
I think it is ball screw, Bob.
but it looks like it's all ball screw and linear rails and.
you know what's crazy for me is if you're going to spend that kind of money, and maybe I'm just kind of weird because I know it a little bit better, but what is the class of ball screw? Where are you getting your linear rails from? What's the brand? Because there's some junk ones out there as well as some decent ones from China,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And if you got the American ones, Thompson or something decent, then then maybe you could justify that the price. But see, that's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. Is why would you spend 10 grand on that unless you can answer some questions for me? And I can't imagine not having those questions before you would spend that much money. But,
Yeah. And, of course, this one that we're looking at here looks like it's got, I guess that's included.
Yeah, it said the Massa was included.
They're including this, people call it a chiller. It's really more of a radiator type thing. CW3000.
well, some of the 3000s doesn't, but the 5200 has the refrigerant in it.
Yeah, that's I've got the 5202, and that's a true chiller. But they always call this one the CW3000 a chiller, and it's not really.
Nope.
It's more of a radiator type deal.
Yeah, it's just air cooled.
But I guess this one has. I mean, they're showing the Masso Touch, so right there, that's going to throw another $1,000 on it too, and if that's included. There it says.
Yeah, it says Masso Touch.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just, like I said, I know these are fairly new, and as far as the machines, now they've been around making accessories for everybody else's machine.
Yeah, to be fair, maybe in their documentation it talks about all the specs or something, because they got they got home, shop, and so.
Yeah,
maybe it's there.
Yeah, they just don't. I mean, 3 Newton meter motors, Masso. They're kind of not giving you a lot of information there with what you got there. But I don't know. I just, like I said, I started looking at these, and the more I looked, I'm thinking, man, they're pretty proud of that stuff for not even having a real picture of it.
Right.
So, but again, that's just old Dave being old Dave, I guess.
Well, I think it comes with the experience. We bought some ball screws on a design that we were working on, and they were supposed to be the class 7 or C7, and we got it hooked up, and I just took my dial indicator out and was noticing it was a little bit off, but by the time it got from one end to the other, it was close to 1/8 of an inch, and it's like, dang. I mean, I know it was like a 4-foot ball screw, but it's like, this ain't right. So the specs are saying it's not right, but I thought it was, I'm doing something wrong. but you get what you pay for, right? I mean, we got a good deal on that ball screw, even though it was junk. So.
Yeah, JR hit the nail on the head right here. If you're going to spend that kind of money, you might as well get an Avid, because having had an Avid, I can tell you that they're the real deal.
Yep.
And it's not ball screws on the X and Y. It's rack and pinion. So it is super fast and very, very nice machines.
JR says he used that workbench con with the prototype.
Yeah, well, I've seen the video of, I can't remember who it was, but they were talking to somebody that was there at the show, and they had like a 2x4 showing it. It wasn't at Workbench Con, though. It was at someplace in Texas, I think, was the show that I remember seeing. But anyway, I was just kind of looking at those, mainly because I know that they're going to be doing the Masso, the G3 Touch, which I'm really starting to like that thing. I was telling Paul, I've been saying I can't justify buying one, but that's never stopped me before.
Starting to lose it.
I really want one. Now, I don't care nothing about a PWN machine or a Onefinity or any of that mess, but I like that controller. I like that touch. I think it's a slick outfit, and might have to get me one of those pretty soon.
Better get it before the tariffs start.
Yeah. All right.
It'll look good.
What's that, Paul?
I says it'll look good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'll just sit there and sparkle and have all them pictures on it. And...
I got big plans. I'm not even sharing all my big plans yet.
Oh, okay.
But I got some big plans for that thing if I get one, which I think I might.
You will.
All right, let me see a show of
that little assembly table.
Yeah. Let me.
We ought to take like a poll to see how long it's going to take. Everybody pick a day when he's going to get it.
Yeah.
Well, my birthday's tomorrow, so.
Hey, my brother's birthday's tomorrow too.
Yeah.
You could buy him one too.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. We got a few folks out there. Let me see a show of hands in the chat. How many people have heard of Print NC? Has anybody heard of that?
Nope.
Okay. I'm glad I'm seeing a blank stare on y'all's faces here, because you know me, I watch a few YouTube videos here and there. And because I'm kind of a CNC guy and YouTube has that algorithm thing, I get thrown a lot of CNC related videos. Well, I saw something pop up in my feed. Now, I'm not saying it's the first time it's ever popped up, but it's the first time it's caught my attention. And it said something about Print NC, and then, of course, had a picture of a CNC machine. And I thought, wow, I don't think I've ever heard of them. So, here I go off on a deep dive, watching videos, trying to learn about this. And I've got, let me pull up their, let's see, where did I put it? Maybe I don't remember if I bookmarked it or not, but let me let's look right here. Yeah, I guess it's an open source thing. Let's see. We'll add this back.
Looks like Russ Meadows is thinking about getting a alt mill MK2.
All right.
I think you'll like it.
Oh yeah, I think you will too. But this is their wiki page. I guess they're on version 4, And what really surprised me is when I started digging into this thing, and I think it says somewhere, well, I don't remember where I read it, but somewhere in here it says it started in, I think, 2019.
Hmm.
And like I said, I'm thinking, man, oh, here it is. First launch in late 2019. There are now hundreds of print NC builds around the world with makers using them to build projects from wood, aluminum, steel, carbon fiber, and many other materials. But anyway, it's an open source deal, and it's kind of an interesting design. Now, not interesting enough to make old Dave build one, but I always enjoy watching build videos and seeing how folks come up with ideas and do things. And I've got some. Well, let me wait a minute. Wait a minute.
So what was so interesting? You got to tell us now.
Oh, let me get rid of that for a second, and I'm gonna cue something else up here. But I just thought it was an interesting design. It's another attempt to use some, I don't know, I won't say cheaper materials, but you know, I really don't. It probably would cost more than a plywood machine, I'm sure, but they have kits where, and I don't know who's put together these kits, but you can get uh, the what is it called, HGR 20 profile rail for the X, Y, and the Z, and the associated ball screw with that. But what they use, and I got one here, is here in the U.S. If you're at a fab shop, we call this rectangle tubing because that's really what it is. It's tubing in the shape of a rectangle. But the guys I was watching over in UK and all, they call it box something, a box section or something. I forget what they call it. But basically, now this is about a 3 foot piece that I had. I had about 4 or 5 of these laying around because I used to use these for table saw fences. I sold a bracket and stuff, and every once in a while I'd get somebody that would want a fence too. But so they use this kind of stuff, and I've got some pictures. Let me get them queued up over here. I can find where I put them.
JR, I'll get to your question here in a minute.
Okay, let me put them over here. All right, now let me. All right, we'll add this back. Let me just zoom it in. But here you can see how the tubing comes into play. And
Okay.
they call this, like I said, they call it print NC. So the name kind of implies that a lot of it's 3D printed, but it's not really. They're using the 3D printer to make a few things. You can see they're putting plugs in the end of the tubing to dress those up, and a lot of the builds I watched, people would 3D print something, and then once they got their machine built, they would turn around and rerun that part out of aluminum or something. If it was just a plate or something. But I thought these were kind of cool little designs, and I don't know. It's been a long time since I bought any of that rectangle tubing, so I know it's probably a lot more expensive. But I think all of this, these two pieces for the y-axis, and then the 3 pieces that are for the bed, I think those are 2x3, and then I think this one up here is 2x4 for the gantry. But I
That's
gotta
pretty
say,
clever because you don't have to have any you're just buying off the shelf parts, and then you can 3D print the stuff to hold it together, right? So it's a pretty
yeah.
cool
Now,
deal.
now notice there, there because you're buying these metal rectangle tubing. There's a lot of drilling and tapping. You see some right there where my mouse is. Looks like some screws and stuff sticking up where they
Right.
screwed it together. So you have to, uh, you know, probably have a reasonable drill press or something to be able to do this accurately. You can see they've got the profile rails on top of these rectangle tubes, and of course the one up here. And I'm not sure what that was right there. I guess there's some kind of that might have been the part that comes in the kit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you always problem. The problem is always the Z when you get that.
Yeah. Now see, here's another one. Looks like the tubing's still in raw form, not painted, but yeah. I mean, it looks like a fairly simple build.
Yep.
If you like working with metal, a lot of folks don't like metal because it's working with metal doesn't go well when you're in a wood shop. Sawdust and metal chips usually don't mix too well. But I just got on here and got a couple of pictures. Here's another example how you'd have to lay out the holes, or I guess maybe they're using those 3D printed things as fixtures to mark and drill and tap those holes.
Yeah, I wonder if they're tapped or if they just have nuts on the bottom.
Well, I don't know. I guess you could do either way. Now, a lot of the builds I watched, they were tapping because this tubing is thick enough that you can get threads to hold.
Okay, because they said in steel it's what 1 times the diameter of your screw. In aluminum, that you want like 2 times. So these are steel, right?
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
they probably are doing half, but
And
there's
these
so many.
these are not. If you know anything about steel metal tubing, like rectangle tubing or square tubing, they are not precision. So
Right.
they are, like these guys were, you're laying the profile rail on here and all that. So you might have to do some shimming, or,
Right.
some people would run it up along a belt sander or something to try to get some high spots out and stuff. And I'm thinking it's kind of a cool build, but I watched one guy, I mean, he spent hours and hours and hours scraping and, with a
Yeah.
belt sander and doing all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, all that money you're saving by buying inexpensive tubing, you're using up in your time
Yeah.
trying to get this thing to where it will run accurate. Of course.
So wasn't the long mill their very first machine? Wasn't it a bunch of angle iron or angle aluminum?
Yeah, the early long mills were.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. They're basically big aluminum angle.
So they started out the same way, and then somebody said, "Wow, now that we can afford it, we can buy an extrusion and make our own."
Yeah,
Type of thing.
yeah. But like I said, I was a little bit surprised when I started looking at these, and I'm like, what? Where have these been? They've been around almost, well, a good 4+ years, and I'd never even heard of them before. But if you're like me and you don't necessarily want to build one of these, but you just enjoy watching different styles of build videos, there's some good ones out there. Now I got to watching one. He had a playlist set up, and I think there was 6 videos in it. So I started watching it. In about the 6th video, he pulled old switcheroo. He says, yeah, he says, life's got in the way and I just haven't been able to finish it. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that sounds a lot like me. Only it's usually not life gets in the way. It's just something shiny pops up. But then the next thing you know, he's like, I decided to go another route. Next thing you know, he shows the video, and there's a big box truck backing up, and they're unloading a Saber CNC.
Wow.
So yeah, he spent the big bucks, and but he was almost done with his print NC like that. He wasn't that far off. I think he showed his controller wiring, and it looked even worse than mine. It was pretty pretty much a rat's nest. But yeah, I guess he decided that he'd just splurge and get the other one. But a lot of the other builds I watched, they were interesting. And like I said, I'm always, because I never would have thought of rectangle tubing, and probably because I know that it's really not very precision. There's it's got that welded theme on it, and when you put heat to something, it makes stuff move. So, but yeah, I guess they've made some pretty decent little machines out of that. I enjoyed watching those. So if you like me, you like to watch good build videos, it's basically something that you probably hadn't seen before. Just go to YouTube and search Print NC. And was there anybody over here that had said that they'd seen them before?
No, not that I saw.
Okay, yeah, Russ is considering the Alt Mill MK2 touchscreen.
So JR was asking about the Bamboo Lab A1. I paid $339 for the ones that I have. They're currently on Bamboo's website for $499, and that's not the combo. The combo is $699. From what I understand, though, you can go if you have a. Do you guys have micro centers down there, Dave?
What's that? Right.
Do you have a micro center down there?
We do somewhere if they're still in business. I haven't been to one in years.
Yeah, Micro Center's supposed to still have them at the $339 amount, but yeah, on their site it's $499 for just the printer itself. Pretty ridiculous.
And how much is the combo?
$700.
$700. Okay.
Is that what you got, Ryan, or what?
I have an A1. Just I don't have with the AMS on that one, and then I have a P1S as well from Bamboo.
Okay.
And I have an A1 combo, and mine was $449 at Micro Center back in November.
So I'm assuming I'm way out of date on 3D printers. So are these better than like the Creator, or what? I mean, what makes them better than
it's everything?
Quality.
They just work in 2 words.
Yeah,
they work.
Yeah, it works. You don't have to mess with them typically. Although behind me right now, I'm having a nightmare situation happening. Oh yeah, I gotta stop that one. That's bad. Yeah, I'm having some issues.
So the quick print quality is that much better than the $200. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's like when you experience like the new age printers compared to like the Ender 3s and all that.
That's what I have as an Ender 3 still. See, I'm old school.
It's complete night and day.
Okay.
It's wild how much better they are typically. I'm convinced that I'm having issues with the filament in this one right now, but we'll see.
Is it old filament or?
No, it's brand new, and I have dried it and everything, and it's still giving me problems. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's making me angry.
I hate a
third of the roll so far.
I hate to say anything because I don't want to jinx mine, but I ran my what is it I got? P1S.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ran it 2 different times today, and it's like I just click send, and then I get up and leave. I don't even watch the any of the first layer or anything, and it just. In fact, I ran a little piece. I got a new camera mount. I realized that instead of putting my camera on top of, hooking it over the top of the monitors, that there's a pole right here in the center. So I just made a flat plate with a ring that slides over that pole, and then put a 1/4-20 thing. And so now it's like right here at me instead of kind of pointing down or up or whatever. But, and then I also ran a little test piece of, let's see, it was 80-160, the aluminum extrusion. Like if you go to the 80-20 place online, it's 80 millimeters wide by 160 millimeters tall. And then it has two T slots on the top and the bottom, and then 4 on each side. And the good thing about that website, the 80-20 website, is you can get the CAD files. So when you're designing stuff, you can just pull, you can get the CAD file in several different formats: SolidWorks, Fusion 360, step files, STL files, what have you. So I got that 80-160 in a step file, and then brought it into my Design Spark Mechanical, and then I thought, well, I know when I look at dimensions, if I think hard enough, I know what they are. But I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and print out just a little, because the sample you get is like 30 millimeters tall. So I thought, well, that won't take too long with bamboo. I'll just print it out. And man, that thing prints it just beautiful. And if you look at it, it's real webby, and it's. I didn't bring it out here. Maybe I'll run and get it here in a minute. But that way I could kind of look at it and see if it's going to do what I want it to do. But talking about pricey, just for giggles, I went ahead and, because you can't find out the price of nothing until you add it to your cart, basically. Well, the price is so terrible that they had it. It was 21 cents. Are you ready? Per millimeter. Wow. 21 cents per millimeter. So I put, I thought, well, let's just see what one of these suckers would cost. So I put in like 60 inches, which is 5 feet. It's $327, and that's not counting shipping. And I know there's no free shipping on that stuff, because it's gonna be pretty heavy, because I think it's also about 0.65 of a pound per inch. I think something like that. So even though it's aluminum,
for a piece of extruded aluminum, huh?
Yeah, but in fact, let me mute myself, and I'll run and grab that sample, and y'all can talk to monkeys yourself or something while I'm gone.
You can talk about that project. We can guess what you're trying to do. I mean, why would anybody need something that was 160? That's like almost 7 inches tall by 3 inches wide.
It's
pretty heavy. Yeah. Sounds like he's going to try to compete with that.
My camera's pretty garbage, but you'll be able to see. I mean,
I saw that. Yeah.
That's that just came straight off of the bamboo.
Okay.
And, it's just the print quality is amazing, absolutely amazing. But,
so it's still an extrusion, right? I mean, it's still extruding. You must be doing multiple layers or what?
See, I printed it like this, with it setting like this. You can see how this, now just imagine the machine it must take to make a piece of aluminum 5 foot long with all that
Well,
going on.
it's just an extrusion die. It's a big
Right.
die, but they just push the aluminum through it, and then they grab both ends and they pull it to keep it straight and section it.
Yep. But that,
And sell it for big bucks.
Yeah.
so when you get a little sample like this, now you can kind of picture it more up here of how big it really is.
Beefy.
What project you got going on, Dave, that you're going to need such a huge extrusion?
I'm not saying. It won't be a PWN or a print NC. You can bet on that.
Will you tell us when we're done with the
No, probably not.
stream?
Yeah.
No, probably not. I don't even know if I'm going to do it. Like I said, I'm when you go and check this out and you go, okay, for this one piece, it's $327, and probably I'm guessing at least another 50 to get it shipped here.
Yeah, but you only need one piece for the gantry.
Yeah, but you need a bunch of other aluminum for other stuff. Just saying.
For what they want for that, well, I get if you were doing it for a business, you can buy an extrusion die for $3,000 to $4,000, which sounds expensive, right? But then you're basically paying like $1.50 or $2 a pound for the aluminum. And you can get the extrusion is yours, right? The shape of it. So,
how many feet can you push through an extrusion before the die wears out?
a lot. I don't, but typically when you buy the tool, the die maintenance is on them. It's in the price of the aluminum. But,
that's awesome.
yeah, we were getting like they came and we got them cut to 12 foot, but we were getting 24-foot extrusions, and they could hold them super straight, because I didn't realize how they did it, but they just grab it on each end while it's still hot and they stretch it until it cools, and then they just, the part where they grab, they just cut off because it's all mangled up, right, because it was still hot. But this is fascinating process.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, so you can guess why the CNC Lab folks that make the long mill, why they started simple with pretty much regular aluminum angle, and now they've got they've graduated to having their own fancy extrusion made.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and it's a nice looking machine. The newer ones with the special extrusion. In fact, I've had Andy, I think is his name, isn't it? Andy Lee, I think.
Yeah.
He's been on the show before with us talking about the thing, and I think that was when they were just getting ready to start doing the special extrusions, if I remember right.
Right.
And of course now they've got the alt mill, which it's, I hate to say it, but you've got the alt mill, which is extruded aluminum frame, profile rails and bearings, and ball screws. Now you got the same thing for the PWN. I don't really see, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this if there's any fanboys out there of these machines, but I don't really see anything that just jumps out at you as like revolutionary. It's pretty much a standard CNC. You know, and you look at Avid. Look how long Avid has been making them out of that extruded aluminum, and of course their lower side. I won't call them budget machines because even those are a little pricey, but they use I think the ball screws and profile rails and stuff, whereas the top dogs use the rack and pinion. But anyway, all right, we got
not like us lowly plywood machine builders.
yeah, I know. Ain't
We're
nothing wrong.
ex-builders.
Ain't nothing wrong with plywood. You can do a lot of stuff with plywood. All right, let's. I'm gonna try to. Like I said, I tried that, Bob. I took the top off.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep,
And I got the same results when I tried it during the intro when it was playing. But y'all might be able to answer this without. I was hoping I could screen share and pull it up with that little thing and do a demonstration and show them what's causing it. But y'all may know anyway, and I think I know, but I'm not that keen on this Gerbil stuff. But I got a letter from Bill, an email from Bill. Bill says, let me put my glasses on. Bill says, Dave, I'm 81 and I don't use Facebook. And I say, good for you, Bill. I watch your show on the rerun because I'm 81. I totally get that part too. I love G-Sender, but I can't figure out how to make the G code stay on G55, which is an offset coordinate, when a project completes, rather than always reverting back to G54. Maybe you could cover this on one of your shows. I always think I can't be the only one with this question. I really enjoy your show's content. Thanks, Bill. Well, thank you, Bill, for putting that question out there. So now that I've got some Gerbil people on the panel, what say you? What do you think it is? Is it something in the G code that's? And by the way, I did email him today and ask him. He's running a long mill Mark 1, which I think is the angle ones we were talking about, Bob. A 30 is his bed size. And he's using VCAR Pro as his design software and using the regular Gerbil post processor for inches.
So here's going to be my guess, and I can give him a solution for it too. But I don't remember seeing anywhere in the firmware where Gerbil itself takes care of the G54 through G59 or whatever it is. It has it. It will read it, so it stores the numbers. But I think it will always default back to the G54. Okay. But all he would have to do was put that command in his post processor in Vectric, and then that should take care of it. He could start with G55.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead. Like I said, this thing is not working, but I'm going to go ahead and bring up G-Sender over here.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and plug this thing in, even though it's not really working the way I want.
Did you see the comment in the chat, Dave?
From Andy. Thinks it's a bug and that they're working on a new version. It's mentioned in their forum.
In G-Sender? Yeah, because G-Sender would have to save where you were at. But again, I don't think that's necessary. Change your post processor in Vectric to include that G55 if you want it in there every time. And then because you can just type in G55 and then you're there. So
okay, now this may be the bug he's talking. Oh, let me share it. We're going to put this up here. Okay, so I've got a test program loaded on here. And this is what I'm talking about. This is not working with this board. It's not showing up the Y at all. So I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, if you look up here,
I know why.
you do?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay.
Because that's the board from your Revolution, and it only has an X and Z.
No, this isn't the board from my Revolution.
Oh. Well, it's set up like that.
This is an Elegoo Uno R3 that I've had sitting on my office desk for years.
Well,
No,
it's set
I,
up like
I didn't steal the one out of the Revolution. The Revolution's still intact. But I don't know why this one's not, because I used to do this when I would do demonstrations from my office. I would just plug this in to that computer in there, and it would act like it's running, like it was a machine.
So does G-Sender have a upload firmware? Just go ahead and upload their firmware, a 3-axis, and then you'll have it.
Yeah, if you go to the top right corner there, Dave, under firmware. There you go. And well, it's under generic.
Yeah, I've even updated G-Sender today. So this is the latest, greatest. But anyway, I can't make mine run because when I go to do it, I get this error. So I can't get anything to work with.
Well,
this.
go ahead. Do you have a console window where you can type in commands?
Yeah.
In G-Sender? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with G-Sender.
Yeah. Well, see how you can change this. See, it was on G54 when I first opened it. And then you go up here to the top and just select G55. Now, you can also come down. See, here's when I select it, it's like I typed it in. It's got G55 right there. So if I go G56.
But go ahead and type in $21 equals 0 or $20 equals 0. And that'll turn off soft limits, and then you should be able to run it without the interference.
Yeah, I don't think they're on though, from what I look.
Okay.
Soft limits, yeah, they're
off. Okay.
Hard limits. So I think there's something screwed up with this board.
Okay.
Because like I said, I just cannot get it to work. So I don't know is if he's running a program and he's got it on G55 and it's going back to G54. I don't know whether he's trying to come up here and set it to G50, changing this back to G55 and then hit go to 00 where he has his G55 set, or what the deal is.
So again, Gerbil keeps track of the 0 point for each coordinate system, but they do not keep track. Gerbil firmware does not keep track of which one you're in, I don't believe. But your post processor is supposed to take care of that. And in the big machines, you would never, ever, ever do a G-code file unless you told it what 0. You would have to say, I want you to be at G54, so it would cut at the right area. So my recommendation, it would be a good practice anyway, is to just edit your post processor in Vectric and just add that G55 if that's the one that he's using.
Yeah. Well, I noticed, let's see if I can find where when I was looking around here at some of this stuff. Yeah, I can't get.
Yeah, it's trying to send 3-axis and you only got 2-axis machine probably.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But it just doesn't have the Y going for some reason. And I don't understand it because this board used to work okay.
Well, if you opened up like Basic Sender or like Open Builds, where you could erase the firmware and then install it, because when you copy firmware over the top of firmware, it doesn't mess with the EEPROM values. So that can really mess things up.
Yeah. But notice how when I disconnected and came back, that had automatically switched back to G54. So see, now it'll go to G. Let's see. Yeah, I can just change it to whichever one I want. And I can't run the job. But I'm thinking that there's something, because I know I saw something somewhere in here where it listed G54, but it didn't have any of the other ones listed. So, but anyway, so Bill, I don't know if that's going to help you any at all, but I just thought it may be, as Andy said, it may be something with G-Sender that they've got to get fixed. Because it should, if you're in, if you've got this switch to Workspace G55 and you're running something, that's where it should stay until you leave to go to another one. I am just not super familiar with the offset settings with. Let me see if I can find something over here. Yeah, here they are. These are my little, I'll call them teaching aids, where I have all these little G55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and there's G54. But I have used these in the past. In fact, if you want to learn about offsets and how they work, just go to YouTube, type in Dave Gatton work offsets, and I probably got 3 or 4 different videos plus a couple of live streams where I'm demonstrating how these work, how you can set up different spots all over your machine bed and then just tell it which one, G55 or whatever it is you want to use, and it will go right to that spot.
So in Mach 3, then it will save that for the next time. Every time you turn it off and you turn it back on, it'll be wherever you left off.
If you tell it to save them, when you enter one, it'll put, like, say you're using 54, 55, 56, and 57. Every time you set one, it'll have those values in a little table. But when you go to it, you can tell it to save them, and they'll be there from now on.
Okay.
So, like, if you had a job where you're doing coasters and you had station 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you set up these different offsets to do different things, you could leave the fixtures secured on your table all the time and just home the machine and say, okay, well, today I need to run some stuff over there where G57 is, and hit G57. It goes right over there to that spot.
Yeah, Gerbil will do that too. So as soon as you go to that system and you 0 at that spot in that coordinate system, that it will retain those values even during the power off.
Oh, okay.
But it will, I don't think it will record, though, that you were in one of them. So the next time you turn on the machine, it defaults back to the 54.
Okay.
But I was thinking Linux CNC was that way too, but I don't know about Mach 3. That's what I was asking. Does it save, like if you're in 55 today and you're making parts on 55, and the next day you turn on your machine, boot it up, are you still in 55, or does it go back to 54?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to get. Let's see if we can get this to work. I can.
I would be curious.
I can pull up here if I can get the screen to cooperate with me. I had somebody the other day, I had a screenshot of Mach 3, and I posted a picture on Facebook, and they go, man, how'd you get the screen to fill up the screen, I go, well, it just depends on the monitor, but also you have to go to config, go to general config, and there's a button down here that says screen control, auto screen enlarge. And sometimes, especially on this computer, I have to try it 2 or 3 times to get it to work. Here goes try number 3. Let's see if that's no. All right, I'm done trying, but we'll leave it the way it is. But yeah, if you come to offsets, so you've got 54 through 59 here, and then you can say save work offsets and see how you got this table. So see, it's showing one in G. I guess that's whatever the last one was. But when you go around and you set all these up, jog the machine where you want, and then say we're going to call this one G56, and you zero it out, then it'll record those values in that in this little table back here. Yep. So you can save, if you got this full of stuff where you got fixtures all over your table, you can save this, and it'll save that stuff, not just the G54, but all of them for when you come back. And like I said, I don't know why this silly thing, because this is, if you come here, config, general config, there's a little box right here where you tell it you got a high resolution screen and an auto screen enlarge. And I don't know why it won't do it. I used to, whenever I was going to be doing a screen share with Mach 3 to show somebody something, I would come out here and play with this until I got it to be full screen, and then I would leave it on all day long for the
Whatever works.
But see, let's see, is it going to do it? Nope, still not doing it. But yeah, I don't know why it just. But see, if I start up this this touch screen back here, that's what I'm using to run this machine. It goes full screen all. Of course, now that I say that, it probably
now you're going to jinx it.
But yeah, it always goes full screen on that one. But something about these bigger monitors, and maybe it's just the way I have the resolution set or something, that you have to really go back and forth to get it to go full screen. And I don't know why. All right. I guess we've been on here a little over an hour. Just checking the comments. I guess y'all watched the comments, so I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, Andy's saying that the new version of G-Sender is almost ready for its final release. They're on version 0.7, I guess.
Okay. That issue will be fixed in that. Okay. Well, I know when I was playing around with it earlier, it asked me to update, and I thought, well, let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, it did the same thing.
I was probably behind a few versions anyway, because that's not something I use. Like I said, I don't even have any Gerbil-based machines in here right now. Other than that little laser over there, that's about it. But anyway, well, maybe they'll get that fixed. And then Bill, if you're watching, probably maybe tomorrow on the replay, I apologize for not being able to come up with a definitive answer on that, but I just don't know for sure about this board. But anyway,
good deal.
Anybody got anything else? Ryan, you got anything you want to talk about?
Sure.
All right. Well, go for it.
The Ranger CNC is moving. Yes.
Good deal.
Yeah,
It's alive.
it is alive. It's just special needs at the moment. So got a little figuring out for the um, uh, for the firmware to get sorted out, but yeah, she's mobile, so
All
it's
right.
awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And you can probably learn more about that in Saturday night if you watch
Oh yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah. Making it up as we go. Saturday nights, 9 o'clock, on the R Ballard Design channel, and we'll talk about the latest goings on and 3D printing, lasers, and CNC stuff, videos, and usually whatever it is that I've messed up that week.
All right. Yeah, always look forward to that. And I take it we're going to be seeing some Ranger CNC action before too long on that,
Oh yeah.
on part of that channel anyway.
Yep. We've actually started up a new YouTube channel for Ranger CNC. So
Yeah.
youtube.com/@Ranger CNC if you want to
Cool.
And I
follow.
think somebody told me you have a new Facebook group too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We're going all in.
Heck yeah.
Um,
All right.
since everybody else retires, I figure it might be a path to me being able to retire.
There you go.
There you go.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah. All right. Well, Paul, you got anything, any parting words or?
I have no words of wisdom. Maybe I'll come up with some in time for the show on Saturday night, but as of tonight, I got nothing.
Okay. All righty. And Bob, how about you? You got anything exciting going on in the retirement life?
No, I don't have anything exciting at all. I just, I've been to Walmart way more than I've ever planned to be in my entire life, with Pam. So, but
Wow, Walmart.
I hate Walmart. I hate shopping in general. I mean, the online shopping thing was, for me was the bomb, right? I mean, I can go look, I can hit buy, and it shows up at my door. I love that. Like that Masso controller you're probably going to buy.
Tomorrow.
Just go click. Yeah. Happy birthday. Click buy and boom. It's there.
I don't know. I'll try.
But Walmart does that. Walmart does that, and they have free shipping too.
Yeah. They have the pickup. So Pam does the order, and while she goes and picks up those few things that she doesn't trust them to get, I go do the pickup and then meet her back up front. So we're zipping.
Well, they won't deliver it to your house.
Oh, we live out in nowhere, so yeah, they don't deliver to nowhere.
All right, now do you get dressed up in your pajamas when you go to Walmart, or is that?
I got two teenage boys still, and they wear pajamas to school, but it's just not it's not my culture. I have to be in real clothes when I go places.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
well, I haven't.
Just can't do it.
And some people may find this hard to believe, but I have not been in a Walmart in probably close to 20 years.
You're my hero.
No, I have. I did have a weak moment once and ordered something online from Walmart and had it delivered. I can't even remember what it was. Yeah. But I have not been in a Walmart, nor have I wanted to go into a Walmart in years. I know I haven't been in one since I've lived here, and that's been 18 years. So
I'm going to hang your poster up in my shop.
Yeah.
Picture Dave, non-Walmart.
Now Amazon, that's a different story.
Yeah, it is.
They come by every day, huh?
I'm a big time Amazon shopper.
So you know the driver personally?
drivers.
on your Christmas
There's several.
drivers.
Yeah. And that's always weird to me when you order, like say you got 3 different items and they'll show up in 3 different trucks on the same
I know it.
day.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Yep.
how does that work? But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a sucker for Amazon. But anyway, all right. Well, I guess we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for hanging around with me tonight. Thank you for your help in answering that question. And if anybody else has any questions, something like that, where you can ask questions obviously in the live chat, but if you'd like to see something like a demonstration of work offsets using Mach 3 or something like that, if you give me enough advance notice, I can get that set up where that'll be what we do. So just shoot me an email, go to the website davegatt.com and hit the little envelope and that'll send me an email. And that's what Mr. Bill did. And we'll go from
Thanks,
there.
Bill.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
All righty. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, check out the OhmTech website if you want to make those cool Easter type projects. And
Pew, pew.
of course, now, Easter's, we've got Good Friday and then Easter Sunday is this Sunday. And then right after that, we've got Memorial Day, then Mother's Day, then Father's Day, and there's holidays, some kind of thing coming up where you can make money with your laser pretty much all the time. So anyway, all right, let's get out of here. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week.
See ya.
See ya.